You've probably written on a whiteboard hundreds of times, but have you ever stopped to wonder why classrooms, offices, and meeting rooms almost completely abandoned chalkboards? After all, chalkboards worked perfectly well for over a century. They were cheap, simple, and easy to use. So why did schools around the world suddenly decide to replace them? It turns out, it wasn't because whiteboards looked more modern. The real reason is much more surprising. And once you know it, you'll never look at a classroom the same way again. To uncover why whiteboards replaced chalkboards, we first have to look at the problems that came with using chalk every single day. Every time someone wrote, erased, or even slapped a chalk eraser against a wall, tiny clouds of chalk dust filled the air. It settled on desks, clothes, books, and even inside people's lungs. For years, people simply accepted it as part of school life. But as classrooms became more crowded and health standards improved, that dusty tradition began to look like a much bigger problem than anyone realized. Now let's uncover the surprising reasons why whiteboards replaced chalkboards. Firstly, no chalk dust. This was the biggest reason of all. Chalk dust doesn't just make a mess. Those tiny particles float through the air and can irritate your eyes, nose, and throat. For people with allergies or asthma, it can make breathing much more difficult. Teachers faced this every single day. Imagine spending hours in a room where a fine layer of dust is constantly being created. It's a bit like working beside someone sanding wood all day. Dry erase markers solved that problem almost overnight. No airborne chalk particles, no dusty hands, no white powder covering everything by the end of the day. But cleaner air wasn't the only advantage. Another benefit, better visibility. Chalk can look bright when it's freshly written, but after a few minutes it often becomes uneven or dusty, making words harder to read, especially for students sitting at the back of the classroom. Dry erase ink creates bold, dark lines with much sharper contrast against a white surface. That means diagrams, equations, and notes are easier to see from across the room. It might seem like a small improvement, but when you're trying to keep an entire classroom focused, every little bit helps. And that's only part of the story. Thirdly, easier cleaning. Anyone who has used a chalkboard knows that erasing it isn't as simple as it sounds. You erase one section, and suddenly a gray shadow is left behind. Then you have to clean the eraser. And cleaning the eraser usually creates another cloud of chalk dust. Whiteboards changed all of that. A quick swipe with a dry eraser removes most writing instantly. If marker stains build up over time, a cleaning spray brings the surface back to life. Less time cleaning means more time teaching, presenting, or learning. But the biggest surprise came when technology entered the classroom through modern integration. Whiteboards turned out to be far more adaptable than chalkboards. Many whiteboards are magnetic, allowing teachers to attach charts, maps, flashcards, and notes without tape or pins. Their smooth, reflective surface also works much better with overhead projectors and digital projectors. Instead of choosing between writing and displaying images, teachers could do both on the same board. As classrooms became increasingly digital, whiteboards fit naturally into the new way of teaching. And finally, improves classroom comfort. Think about the sound of chalk scraping across a chalkboard. For some people, it's one of the most unpleasant noises imaginable. Whiteboards are much quieter. The classroom also stays cleaner because there's no layer of chalk dust settling over everything. Desks stay tidier, clothing stays cleaner, electronic equipment lasts longer because less dust gets inside it. Altogether, the room simply feels brighter, cleaner, and more comfortable to spend hours in. It wasn't just about replacing a board, it was about creating a better environment for everyone inside the classroom. So in the end, whiteboards didn't replace chalkboards because they were newer or more fashionable. They solved real problems. They reduced dust, improved visibility, made cleaning easier, worked with modern technology, and created quieter, cleaner classrooms. What seems like a simple change was actually the result of decades of improving health, comfort, and the way people learn. That ordinary whiteboard hanging on the wall isn't just a different color. It's the answer to problems most of us never even noticed. Next time you walk into a classroom or meeting room, you'll know the hidden reason why chalkboards slowly disappeared. And if you enjoyed uncovering the hidden story behind something you see every day, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Curiosity Network, where simple questions lead to fascinating answers. Curiosity is everywhere. You just have to know where to look.